She goes, $150 for a custom leather jumpsuit. In my head, I'm like, ooh, I probably undercharged. I should have charged more. She goes, I wasn't expecting to pay that much. That seems a little expensive to me for a custom leather jumpsuit. And then she says, can you give me an itemized list or just everything that is included in the $150 because I wasn't expecting to pay that much. In my head, I was like, what? Do you ask Gucci what is all included in the $500 belt? Do you ask Louis Vuitton what all is included in their $1,500 bag? Story time. So back in the day, while I was still doing custom orders, I had a customer reach out wondering if I could do a custom jumpsuit inspired by Selena. I think she wore it for a concert, and the song that popped out was like, bitty bitty bum bum. Bitty bitty bum bum. So apparently that jumpsuit is iconic. Let my ignorant self right here. Selena Quintanilla Perez was a legend. Absolutely iconic. This was the last concert that she performed before she was unalive. And so respect on her name. And so she wanted a version of the jumpsuit, but she wanted it in leather, and she wanted to see if I could do like a custom jumpsuit for her. And I was like, why don't you just go ahead and order it wherever you saw it from? And she was like, yeah, I've been looking around, but the problem that I have is that I'm a tall girl. And so most of the things that I order or that I buy usually fit me everywhere else, but the legs are always short. And so that's why I wanted this custom made. I was like, okay. So she went ahead and said that she particularly wanted it in a kind of leather. Of course, she needed it by a certain date. I believe it could have been in October. And so I did have enough time for me to be able to make it. I did tell her that I would try and source fabric within the local Memphis area, but if not, and usually the case is that type of fabric, or if it's a special request of fabric, I'm not going to get it from here because we don't have we don't have many fabric stores. And so I would need to order it. If I did find it, I would have to order it from out of town and have it come in. But with the time frame that she gave me, I was like, oh, I can get this done. I also told her that the price of the jumpsuit is going to be dependent as well on how much the fabric is. Yes, I had an idea of the labor that I was going to charge for me to get this done. And honestly, that was back in the day. I was just getting my feet wet and just taking on more clients. So I don't really know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. So pricing, I was definitely highly undercharging or underselling myself. So yes, just told her that the total price of the jumpsuit will depend on how much the fabric is that I'm ordering in, and then we would go from there. So I didn't give her a price, but I believe she had a price in her head because she had been looking for this jumpsuit or had seen this jumpsuit, the exact jumpsuit. I think it was leather, but in black, but she wanted it in burgundy. So I think she had an idea of the price that she wanted to pay based off of what she had seen. So price was really not discussed, and I've learned, I now know that price should be one of the very first things that we discuss before anything is even done. So price aside, I was like, I need you to come in so that I can take your measurements so that we can see how to get this jumpsuit done. That is where it started going downhill because we couldn't get a date for her to come in. Now, this correspondence was through email. And so I would try and ask her, can you come in so that I can take your measurement? She would either not respond, or the date that I would suggest just wouldn't work for her. Meanwhile, she's given me a date for me to work towards. So I'm like, I can't start working without your measurements because I don't know. I don't know what to make. So I was like, okay, since you can't come in, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a work schedule. I just don't know why we couldn't agree on a day for her to come in so that I could do measurements. And so I ended up just asking her, what size do you wear? Wrong. I should have not done that. But fine. I just asked her, what size range are you in? So my reasoning was like, okay, if she gives me a size range of the clothing that she wears, then I have an idea of the measurements, a measurement range, and I could probably just do the largest size or the largest measurements. And then if that works out big, I can take it in and all of that. Of course, like I had mentioned, she's a tall girl. And so the issue was how tall she was and how the pants would fit. But I was like, I just need some measurements to at least start working with. I think she did tell me her height. And so I was like, that kind of gives me an idea of measurements. Definitely what not to do, but I've learned my lesson. Anyways, so I was like, okay, have your size and how tall you are. I think I can work with that. Went ahead, looked for the fabric. I ended up finding something that was close to what she wanted. I sent her pictures of the fabric before I actually even ordered it, and she was like, yes, I like that color, we can go ahead. Went ahead and ordered that and actually started to work on the jumpsuit. I'm laughing because I'm like, all the things that you're not supposed to do, because how do you start work on something that you really don't know what the actual measurements are? Anyways, that wasn't even the big issue. So I did that. After I finished the jumpsuit, I was like, you need to come in for a fitting because I need to see how this fits, Lord. Still more excuses. Actually, I think there was a point where she even ghosted me, was not responding. And in my head, I'm like, does she want this jumpsuit? Now, of course, where you haven't spent money, you're not invested in it. So she hadn't paid for anything yet. And so really, it was on me. All this money that I was spending, all this time that I had I had put in, this was all on me. So there was no investment. So I'm pretty much done with the jumpsuit. Now I'm trying to get her in because the day that she needed the jumpsuit, it was coming close. So, oh gosh, trying to get her in. Times weren't working. She seemed like she had ghosted me because she wasn't responding to my emails. The day comes that she said she needed the jumpsuit by, comes and goes. And then eventually she responds to my email. I don't even know. I can't remember what excuse she gave. Oh, no, this was the excuse. Now, I don't know if she was sick or something, or she was going to have an operation. And so I'm like, so you can't communicate that you needed the jumpsuit by a certain time. I was working towards that time, and you don't communicate that you might not need the jumpsuit at the time that you had earlier requested. So anyway, she was like, I'm sorry, that didn't work out, but yeah, I'll be able to come in because I still need the jumpsuit for a different day. Now, I was planning on selling this jumpsuit because I was like, I don't know if this girl is serious about getting this jumpsuit, and I've already invested time and money into this. And so, listen, I can sell it. But anyways, this day is going to work for me. So let's do this. So finally she comes in and tries on the jumpsuit. And of course the fit is off, but it wasn't so off. So it just needed a few tweaks here and there. But she was like, I actually don't like it. And I'm like, I don't think you can afford not to like it. I can do a few tweaks here and there. And I know for sure after I do those alterations, the jumpsuit will be fine. But you could tell that she wasn't feeling it. And this usually happens when we fall in love with something on the internet or in a picture, and we think it's going to look amazing on us, and then it doesn't. Some pieces look more flattering on certain body types. And so this was the case. But I was like, I'm not even going to encourage that. I've done my work. She wanted this jumpsuit. I just want my money. Give me my money. Anyways, I say all of that and I had still not given her a price. So anyways, I just told her I was going to invoice her a price and we would try and arrange a time for her to come in and do another fitting. Another fitting that wasn't going to work. Anyways, so she leaves. This time I actually took the measurements while she was there, took down her measurements, then everything that I needed to do for the alterations and all of that. So I was going to work towards that. And so here I am. I was like, oh yeah, I need to send her an invoice. And so I do up the invoice and I email it to her. I believe she did look at the invoice because it shows me that the customer has read or seen the invoice. So she didn't say anything. She got the invoice. She saw the invoice and she saw the price. And the price was I charged her $150 for this custom Selena Beady Beady Bomb jumpsuit. I know. So I was done with the jumpsuit, and again, here I am trying to figure out or trying to contact her to say, your jumpsuit is ready. You can come and pick it up, or you can come and try it on whenever you are ready to pick it up, but it's done. And can you go ahead and pay the invoice that I sent? Oh, after sending that, she didn't even care about the jumpsuit. She was more concerned about the invoice. She sent me an email saying 150. Actually, I think she was like, no, can I call you? I do not like phone calls. I really do not like phone calls. Can we just email? Can we just text? So anyways, I gave her my number and she called and she was like, $150 for the custom jumpsuit. I was like, yes. She's like, I wasn't expecting to pay that much. And in my head, I'm like, I know I undersold myself. I should have charged more. I should have charged more. And she was like, no, that seems a little expensive. In my head, I'm like, what do you mean? And then she goes, I wasn't expecting to pay that much. That wasn't in my budget. For a custom leather jumpsuit, you weren't expecting to pay that much? Custom leather? Oh my gosh, I was livid. But I was like, what do you mean you weren't expecting to pay that much? And what do you mean that was not in your budget? You knew that this was a custom made piece, and usually for a custom, not even usually, all the time, anything custom is going to be more pricey because it's being customized towards your exact needs. And she was like, I don't know. I was like, ma'am, I have done what you wanted. I have bent over backwards trying to get you to come in just from the start of this process. But for some reason, it was not as serious as you made it out to be. I've done my part. That is the price. And you're not going to get your jumpsuit if you don't pay for it. And so she goes, what is all included in this $150? What exactly am I paying for? In my head, I'm like, do you ask Gucci what is all included in the $500 belt? In the, I don't even know how much Gucci shoes cost, but do you ask Louis Vuitton how much or what is included in the 1,500 bag? You don't ask these brands that charge you thousands of dollars, and these are not even customized items. But me, a small business, bends over backwards, gives you an actually fair price. I believe this was a fair price. Below. I should have charged more. And you're asking me what all is included in $150? So I was getting really, really frustrated and irritated. And I was like, I'll send you an itemized invoice of everything that is included in that $150. I need to get off the phone to be able to do that. And so that was the end of that. I went ahead and gave her an itemized invoice, and this is just an example of what exactly it was. I know the math was not mathing. And I showed her in that invoice that I gave her a huge discount for the work that I had done, which should have been more. I also told her that she was not going to get her jumpsuit until she paid the invoice. And I think all she said was okay. And I think eventually she did. She was like trying to apply pressure to say, I need the jumpsuit by this time. And I was like, your jumpsuit's ready. It's here. Whenever you want to come. But again, she could not come in. So I was like, well, I can mail it out to you. As soon as you pay that invoice, I can ship it out to you and you don't need to worry about coming here. So I guess she eventually agreed to that. And shipping was at my expense because now I was just over it. I wanted to get this jumpsuit out of my house. I wanted to be done with this customer. And so she eventually paid and I shipped out the jumpsuit, and that was the last that I heard of that client. So that was one of the many reasons I stopped doing custom orders, just because of situations like this. But yeah, that was that encounter. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this interaction. Should I have charged more? How should I have dealt with this situation? Give me pointers, give me tips, give me lessons in the comments. What do you think I should actually have charged in the comments? I will see you in the next video.